Welcome back, nerds. This is another episode of
Video Nerds.
And I am Mr. ManNerd, and I'm joined today with
StephenShred. That's me.
Hello. So, this is a monumental achievement here. We're going to do an episode of What's New in Anime Fall Edition. There's some cool shows, returning shows, that sort of thing. But there's a mile marker here. My anime addiction has taken full form. I am going through shows crazily, and I even found a new one that StephenShred knew nothing about, which ended up being really good. So what are your thoughts on my addiction taking hold?
It's about time. I'm all about it, man.
All right, so let's just jump into it. Ragna Crimson. It is based off of manga, and like everything else, but this one, I saw a little tidbit on a video. Somebody was talking about it, how it was awesome. So I wanted to check it out. This thing was banging from the beginning, man. The intro song's awesome. The introduction to the series was just cool, overpowered. And then you go back and find some of this world, what's going on in this world. You see an overpowered character and a not so powered character, and their connection, kind of weird, but very heartwarming too. And then it just gets, oh man, it just builds up and up and up and up. Like, what were you feeling when you watched this episode today?
Well, I mean, first of all, the whole thing, the main antagonists of the show are dragons. So I was in.
Hell yeah. Yep, I figured you'd be into that one.
Yep. I mean, dragons are very close under dinosaurs and things that get me excited, you know? So I was all about it. And just the combat looked cool, like the fight scenes. And I wanted to know more about the characters. Like, it definitely hit me in a spot where we saw enough of what the characters do that I was just like, oh, okay, why is this 12-year-old girl so powerful? It's like, okay, like what's the deal with this dude? Like, why is he so like attached, and why is he kind of like gloomy all the time?
Yeah.
I was like, all right. And then just the world, you know, I've seen a lot of anime that have this fantasy kind of world going on, but everyone's a little different. And this being one that's plagued by dragons, I was just all about it. I really liked it.
Yeah, super dope. And it's like their weapons are silver, which can freeze the dragon's blood. That's just hella cool.
Yeah, that was another thing. Like the dragons are basically treated like vampires. Silver kills them, and then sunlight.
Yeah, it's so crazy. I've never even seen that before.
It was pretty cool.
All right. Well, yeah, I give this one a D20 completely. The first episode, it is, like I said, banging. I love it. I'm going to keep on going.
I'll give it the same. Yeah, it had me going the entire time to the point where I didn't realize that it was a 48-minute long episode.
Yeah, it was, and I love that. I love episodes, like pilot episodes like they used to be, where they're longer than normal. It's like, hell yes.
Yeah, I watched through it, and right up until the point where like the big reveal happens and everything kind of changes, I was like, oh man, they're packing a lot in 24 minutes. And then I paused real quick. I'm like, oh, I'm 40 minutes in. Okay.
Yep.
That makes sense. But yeah, great first episode.
Oh yeah, great first episode. Before we move on, why don't you convince our listeners to watch this first episode? Because that's your superpower, man.
All right, as I mentioned before, these dragons are very similar to vampires in that sense. And with that happening, we have a whole list of characters that we have yet to meet, because you see a few of them. You see the second in the rankings. Our protagonist and his, well, I guess both are protagonists, because they kind of focus a little on both of them. Leo and Ragna, their crew is number one. So picture this. Vampires are plaguing the world, but they're giant dragons. They have this crazy hierarchy. The ones that we're seeing that people are having a hard time with are just the lowest level. And now you have a vampire hunter crew that have rankings and have different fighting styles and abilities. And we're going to see it all come to a head. Just vampire hunters and vampires, but it's dragons. What's not to love? And you get cool characters, and you get an adorable main character who is ridiculously powerful. You in?
Yep, I'm in. And probably one of the coolest, I'd say, twists in a first episode that I've seen.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
That shit was so dope.
It definitely hit me. Like, once everything started coming together. Yeah, like, go in for the whole people versus dragon thing. Stay for the insane power-ups and everything that are going to be happening in the later part of the episode. I guarantee you're going to be stoked. It is something to behold. If you're into anime and you're into those moments where the characters level up and where everything becomes like, this is why this is the main character, you're going to love this.
Yep. Made my whole body tingle seeing that shit. All right, man. Bring us into yours, which was fucking cool. It was way cool.
All right. So this one, a lot simpler. We're introduced, well, kind of. We're shown Fuko, who is very unlucky. Everything she touches gets bad luck. We are then introduced to unnamed character
Yep.
who cannot die. So you get the pair of the girl who is scared to touch people because everything she touches either dies or something horrible happens to them because of her, I guess we'll call ability. And then you have somebody who, no matter what happens to them, they don't die. So they get this friendship where he wants to die, she wants to not be around people and cause them problems, and they team up. And there's already this really funny dynamic to them because it's a very over-the-top, goofy show. Visually, it's great, and it just feels a lot less serious than it should be. It almost gives kind of the Zom 100 vibe, where it's like serious stuff is going down, but our characters aren't very serious.
Nope.
But a lot less to this show than Ragna Crimson. But the show was a good time. We get a little hint at some bigger things going on, some things that we don't yet understand, and a little bit of a shady organization behind some things. So I'm excited, and on top of that, Fuko's adorable. So I'm all in on this show. What'd you think?
Fuko's adorable, and unnamed character who gets a name later is cool, but verging, like almost over the line on the creepiness.
Yeah. There's a few times where I was like, "Whoa, where's this going?"
Like, ooh, yeah. And you know it, and then at the end of the episode, he just says it blatantly, and you're like, "Yep, well, that makes sense."
I love how they bleeped it out too.
Yeah.
And then he just goes chasing her around. Yeah.
It was good. I had a good time. I didn't know what this was going to be about. And then when you see Fuko's power and the unnamed character just get completely demolished and then come back with sprays of blood and regeneration and flying because of the regeneration and the blood squirting. Yeah, I was in. That was a lot of fun.
This show feels like it's going to be a good time. Like I said, very Zom 100. Like, serious things are going down, but we're not taking them seriously.
Yeah, so I would give this one a D20 as well. Like, not in the same level as Ragna, but like in the fun factor, absolutely.
Same. Yeah, it's very different. It's like how we're rating, like, Rurouni Kenshin versus Zom 100. Very different, but I'm going to keep watching and be excited every time the new episode comes out.
Yep, that's what it's all about. You want to keep on watching.
Yep.
Okay. Ready for this?
Let's do this.
Okay, so you convinced me, as always, to watch a show. The Eminence in Shadow, which you described as a main character that is so OP but wants to be a background character. So I was like, okay, I'm in. And I got addicted to that show. I watched it, 2 days? Yeah, it was 2 days.
Yeah.
Watched it all in 2 days. And luckily, the second season came out the next day. The first episode of the second season came out the next day after I finished. And not only that, it is dubbed, which is very weird, right?
Yeah, not many shows get day one dubs, so that was weird.
Yeah, but this show, so much fun. I enjoyed it a lot. Pretty goofy at times, but just that feel of it, how he just looks at his life in this world as basically a movie or a show. It's all he's just a fanboy, man. And he's thinking, this is so cool. I'm part of this storyline now. Hell yeah. And he's just moving towards those moments. And he's just so freaking overpowered. So awesome.
Yeah, like I think one of my favorite parts with his whole like background character thing is when they introduce the some of what we're led to believe, which they are, but not in his sense, the most powerful characters that we'll be seeing in Beatrix and Iris.
Yep.
And they're having their whole conversation, and he's like, oh man, it doesn't get more background character than this. I'm just in the background while the main characters talk. He's like all excited about it. It's just like so dumb. But it's just so good. Like the way he like tries to portray himself, like the Eminence in Shadow is a reference to him. Like he's just there in the background always, and it's just so good. Like I was really glad that you liked this show, because the show could definitely get weird. So I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, it can get weird, but you know me, I like weird.
And it turns out that I was completely incorrect on which one of the 7 was going to be your favorite.
Yep, you were incorrect. And truthfully, it would have been Beta. It would have been Beta. But for some reason, it was like Delta's just so adorable. And like you said, feral. And just like a really good pet. It's just, that drew me in. Like not in a weird way. It's more of like, that's a cool pet.
You know
like,
what I think
cat
it is?
girls don't do it for me. I'm just gonna say it.
You know what I think does it for Beta as well, as far as like not becoming the favorite? I think it's her bratty attitude.
Yeah, that is part of it too.
Maybe if she didn't have that bratty attitude, then she would have been number 1. But yeah, Delta was my favorite too, because it's like, she's so like docile. She's just like, oh, like, she's like, no, go over there. She's like, oh, okay, sorry. But then as soon as they let her loose, they're like, just do whatever you want to. She just destroys and kills everything. Like nothing stands a chance against her. And then as soon as she's out of that mode, she's just back to like, oh, sorry. Like, okay, I'll listen.
Your lovable pet lion or gorilla.
Yeah. And then like, when they just let her loose, there's like, oh, where's Delta? They're like, she's off doing something. And she's just like howling and just running around. I don't know.
Just
she was
being
my
a
favorite
cat.
too.
Oh, now the first episode, second season.
Man.
Had such a good time with that one. And the setting that they put it in, this lawless city, what would you call it? A vampire plague?
Yeah, it like I don't know, like a ghoul plague or something. Yeah, like it turns everyone into these like monsters, and it's so intense. I was so mad though. I watched all of Eminence in Shadow I think I watched it the week after it finished, so I was able to watch every episode. Dude, I was so mad. I watched the one episode. I'm like, no, I want more.
You waited so long. It was perfect for me because I just caught up, and then that day I was like, hell yeah, one more? Cool.
Yeah, it was so good. And then, we get Sid doing more of his background character stuff. It was just so good. And then the what would it be called? I guess the fallout of what went down in the last few episodes of the first season, with his whole like grand display of almost going atomic on them, and just be like, nah, just kidding. That was just for show. Like, I thought that was like the coolest thing ever.
Yep, the peacocking moment.
Yeah,
that I can destroy the whole city, but no, I won't.
Yeah, he's like when their whole thing, like, oh, you're just gonna run? He's just like, run? Why would I run? And it's just like, damn, like that is the most like
Just scared the shit out of them.
Yeah, it's like that's the most like I am a god in comparison to you people, like moment ever.
Like you literally cannot get away from me.
Yeah, he's just like, you want me to just blow up everything and kill everyone? I could do it, but I won't. And then he just leaves. So it's like the fallout of that, where you see kind of like the confidence of some of them just kind of like shattered. They're just like, I don't even know what to do anymore. And then you see his whole crew, everyone's just singing his praises. They're like, God damn, this guy's badass. Like it was going from that and then going straight into like a new arc where, you know, we got Vampire Queen, we got all this stuff. Like, I'm excited. And then we get introduced to a legendary vampire hunter who legitimately looks like a Bloodborne character. Like,
that's cool as shit.
I'm excited, man.
All right. Well, yeah. So that was definitely a banger for sure. D20 all the way. That whole show didn't have a bad episode at all.
Yep. D20 all the way. Just cranking out D20s like nothing, man.
Go for it. The one that you got me into.
And
just had a new episode, season 2.
The show that stole my heart. This was actually the start of me liking slice of life, feel good anime. Spy Family. Now, because I watched a show, which is funny because I'll get to that after. I watched a show that was extremely rough. It was hard to get through some of these episodes. So I was like, I need something to chill with because I feel like traumatized.
Yeah.
So I was looking around and I'd seen a lot of stuff like with Spy Family, like specifically Anya. So I was like, all right, let's check this out. I fell in love with the series. It is so good. Like, the whole idea is that Twilight is our main character. He's a spy. He needs to get close to a politician, so he creates a fake family. And inevitably, they start seeing each other more like real family. They start caring about each other, and it's just a really wholesome, feel-good story, you know? And season 2 dropped, and it is nothing short of perfection as far as continuing that feel. Like, we have some goofy stuff go on, but man, it's just a series that never fails to make me feel good no matter what. I even watched it twice yesterday because I was like, I need to see it again.
Yeah, it was so good. I watched it this morning and I was just like, yep, this is 100% Spy Family. It's great.
It's one of those shows that you watch and you're like, all is right in the world.
And there's cool little aspects to it. Like, every character has their own little thing. The super spy, the assassin, the telepath, and the clairvoyant, I guess you would call it.
Yeah.
But all in a goofy ass way.
Yeah, it's so good. And then just Anya as a character is just like one of my favorite anime characters ever.
Oh, she's adorable.
And then anybody ever brings up any waifu, anything, Yor probably beats them.
Yep. Yours number one, man.
So it's like, this show's got it all, man. But the biggest thing is just the heartfelt moments. You're just like, yes. Like, this is what I needed in my day.
Yep. All right. Well, that's what's new in anime. And you got me again on convincing me. So we'll keep on going. We'll keep on going in that aspect.
Man. Yeah, real quick. The show that traumatized me came back too. That show, Goblin Slayer. Now, this show is about recommending things. Not gonna lie, I don't recommend you watch the show unless you have a very strong stomach and a very strong mental capacity, because it is rough in all aspects, and it at times can feel draining.
We'll just say it's the bad parts of characters of evil, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
Physical abuse, really bad, Would
Yep.
you throw mental abuse in there too? I'm not gonna watch it. So but after you told me some stuff about it, I was like,
you definitely
no
see
way.
the PTSD that is left on a lot of these characters after. It is pretty bad. The whole thing is, you have Goblin Slayer. He works for it. It's kind of like a little hub where they give out jobs where you could go like monster slaying and stuff like that and help. He only takes jobs where he kills goblins, because goblins kidnap people, and they kill them. They do very, very terrible things to these people. So he goes and gets revenge and murders them all, which there's some really cool moments in the show, but there are way more non-cool moments. Now, episode 1 of season 2 came out yesterday. I watched it. Was not very rough, but setting you up for a lot of rough stuff. So if you feel you have the mental fortitude, and I'm not even joking in that, like I am 100% dead serious. If you think you could stomach it, check it out, but I would not recommend it for most people. Even me, who has a pretty strong stomach, had to resort to trying out feel-good slice-of-life anime after, which I ended up getting addicted to. But yeah, not an easy watch. Basically like you're watching one of those shows or one of those movies that they claim is like a, top 10 hardest movies to watch, kind of that in anime form.
yeah, I could probably handle it watching it, but I just don't want to. Certain things I just try to avoid.
Yep. So recommendations for this fall season of anime. Definitely Ragna Crimson,
Yeah, 100%.
Undead Unluck, and Eminence in Shadow and Spy Family. If you have not seen season 1 of either of those shows, get on it, because they are so good. So yeah, with that being said, fall anime. There is a lot, because anime goes on a seasonal system. Fall anime, though, the ones that we cover: Undead Unluck, 100% recommend. Ragna Crimson, 100% recommend. Spy Family and Eminence in Shadow, if you have not seen season 1 of those shows, 100% go back and watch them.
Oh, yeah.
Great stuff. If you're into just the feel-good stuff, you want like a great story with great characters, Spy Family is it's gonna fill that void. Eminence in Shadow, you get a lot of goofiness, a lot of like silly little things that he does, but in the end, extremely overpowered like character that just makes everybody look like they don't know what they're doing.
And probably one of my favorite characters, even though it's him pretending, Mundane Man. I love Mundane Man.
So ridiculous. Yeah, so good.
All right. Well, until next time, we will keep on rolling out these animes more than movies and shows, because that's what we do now.
And there's more of them.
There's more. All right. Catch you later.
Later.
Thank you.